Fantasy football podcast called Living the Stream comes to you each week. Streaming recommendations during NFL season, it's not just tongue-in-cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zacharyson and Danny Carter, living the stream.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zacharyson, the late-round quarterback, and as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Danny Carter. Denny, how are you today?
I am doing as well as one could expect a fantasy football analyst to be doing on a late Tuesday afternoon. When
on a Tuesday with two massive trades that happened.
I know. Yeah, and the Cooper thing happened. So Mark Cooper was traded to Buffalo. Happened during the Roto World football show, so we had to throw out like half the show. Like I had to like scramble and look up stuff during the show. It was quite something.
It was something. If you look at the two trades, I've seen a lot of people say like this trade is more like. Do you think that one trade matters more to fantasy football than the other?
Wow. I would say because nobody has taken command of the wide receiver one role in Buffalo, maybe the Cooper one is more significant.
Yeah, I was trying to think about it because you have Garrett Wilson. Like I did my rest of season rankings, I updated it. Who do you like straight up more between Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson?
Adams.
Yeah, I have Adams ranked. I think I have Adams at like. I love how I ask you that and you answer like it was Jeopardy or something.
Well, I was like, oh no, am I gonna answer wrong? Oh yeah, I think it's Adams, but I think they can coexist. I do.
Yeah. I think I have Adams at wide receiver 13 rest of the season, and I had Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 18 or something like that. Like it was, Wilson though without Adams to me is probably like wide receiver, I don't know, 12 somewhere around there. And so yeah, I mean, like I think that's where that changes, but. Man, I was thinking through things and like looking at like a forecast and like trying to figure out what's going on in Buffalo. I just think the Amari Cooper trade has such a trickle down effect where like Keon Coleman now is not total dust, but it's very difficult for him to see, like a very
close to dust.
Right, exactly. I never want to give up on a rookie wide receiver, in an offensive environment like this, but I wasn't like super high on him as a prospect. So,
right.
Whatever. I don't think that he's like a special player per se. And then Khalil Shakir plays a slot role where he'll probably see a down. He at least doesn't have the same, like him and Dalton Kincaid don't have the same target share upside that they did before.
No, not even close.
That's kind of how I've seen it. Cause there's been people in my Discord who are like, hey, but this could be okay for Dalton Kincaid, right? Because it'll open things up for him and, he'll see more efficient touches. And I'm like, maybe, but, he's seen like a 25% target share over their last 3 games. And I just don't think that ceiling is there anymore, week in and week out.
I don't think so either. Keon Coleman, I wrote a piece back in like, I don't know, May or June that talked about incoming rookies and their target commanding profiles, and his target earning profile was really weak.
Yeah,
coming into the league, and actually Johnny Wilson's was better at Florida State than Keon Coleman. So I think Cooper comes in and could instantly see like a 25% target share, and then that could climb as the year goes on.
And people don't realize that this is not the Ken Dorsey Bills. This is the Joe Brady Bills where they run the ball a lot. Like this is that like they're going to be bottom half in the league in pass rate, and this is not the same as when like Stephon Diggs was there and he saw, a 28% target share and then he had like a gazillion targets because they were throwing the ball so much.
Right.
This is a much, much different situation where like, even if you assume Amari Cooper is taking on the Stephon Diggs role and seeing, a decent target share, not going to be as many targets. And that means that the secondary pieces on the team are even seeing fewer targets as well. So yeah, I mean, like overall, I think that the Cooper trade probably is more interesting, at least for fantasy football, because I don't think a lot's moving around in New York really at the end of the day. Like you see a downtick in Garrett Wilson, sure, but it's not like that dramatic considering like, it's more so like Allen Lazard's probably not going to see what he's been seeing. No one really cares about that.
And speaking of Lazard, you have the play volume and the pass volume for the Jets has made it so that right now headed into week 7, Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 7 overall, and Allen Lazard is the wide receiver 11 overall.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I actually think Wilson and Adams could both be top 15 receivers.
I think it's possible for sure. And then thank God, the offensive coordinator change, or at least the play calling change to Todd Downing this past week. Breece Hall finally saw. I mean, he was back to week 1 usage last night, which was good because I love Braylon Allen, but to me it's like, I've talked to you plenty about like the backup running back stuff. It's like at some point you got to realize that like the guy that's the starter just has more juice and is better than that backup. And Breece Hall. He made some good plays last night. People have criticized that one long run that he had that he didn't cut to the inside, but it's like he's good. He's a good football player.
We love our armchair running backs, don't we, folks? By the way, it looks like JJ's gotten a haircut. Is this right?
I got one. Maybe it was before last episode.
Was it really? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I don't know if I did my hair or not.
You may have had a hat on. Well, it looks good. Nevertheless, it looks good.
I was considering just putting a hat on. I literally did my hair 15 minutes ago.
I think you should always do your hair.
I found that I like the way my hair, because I like the way it looks now. Like right now it's fine. I like the way my hair looks more when I've let it sit without anything in it for like hours after a shower.
So completely dry.
A dry, and then take the crew, the blue crew that I use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then put it in, and then it just looks like it's got the right kind of messy look. Whereas, because I'm going for more of like just the messy, kind of drier, messy look, as opposed to like the wet mess that some people go for, right? And like the wet mess is usually going to come from you doing your hair more quickly after taking a shower.
I would appreciate if you didn't say wet mess again. But have you considered blow drying your hair?
I don't think I'm ever going to do that.
No,
I did that when I was like a kid.
I mean, not
that bowl cut had to get blow dried. Had to have it just flapping in the air,
No, okay, all right. Do this for me. Next time you have some sort of occasion, you blow dry that thing and get that thing crazy high. Get it so high.
Oh, you want me to blow dry it to style it, basically.
To style, yes, you style it while you're blow drying it. You put the stuff in and you get that thing so high.
Wait. How do you put the stuff in and blow dry with the stuff in?
Well, I don't do that, but
I don't know how I would do that with this. This is like creamy stuff.
I guess you would need something else, but
I would need it's like spray.
With the thickness of your hair, I would like to see it. That's all.
I can blow dry I used to do this in like middle school when the flip was, whenever people would just like put their hair forward and then flip it up when boy bands were big and stuff. And I would do that with a blow dryer. Like I could just get the blow dryer and go like this in front of my face and up my forehead, and it would make it stick up. And then my hair, being the way like the thickness that it is. Yeah, I mean, but by the way, someone commented. I had RotoPat on Late Round Perspectives this past week, and one of the comments on the YouTube video was talking about how big our foreheads were.
Oh,
yeah, it was really kind of him.
That's so messed up.
Like I get it, guys. There's I have a forehead. Okay, there's four fingers there.
I actually don't think your forehead is exceptionally large.
I don't think it's like Manning-esque. Like, would you look at me and say I have a Peyton Manning forehead?
No.
I have a large head, and I think that just lends itself to being a big forehead as well.
Yeah, well, also we have our faces like in the camera right now. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not like seeing the. You've seen me plenty of times IRL. Would you have walked by me and said, "Man, that guy has a big forehead"?
No. I would not think that.
Some people have taken, but some people have taken it. My brother has a forehead like mine too, and basically like from my eyebrows up. Until the hair, because he has different hair than I do. But you can tell that it's, I got Zach Eason eyebrows. I got a Zach Eason forehead. It's a very similar situation there. But I don't know where I was going with this. I don't care if I have a big forehead. I don't care at all. If someone's trying to dig me for that, I don't care.
You don't care, so stop. JJ's not mad.
I'm not mad. Don't put in the paper that I'm mad.
We would appreciate if you stopped saying he's mad. Someone did say that the camera adds 4 inches to the forehead. So
Yes.
that might be the case here.
Yeah, that's probably that's what the old saying is. We got to talk about something really quick.
Yeah.
Before we get to the streamers and stuff. You wanted to bring this up. I think it's a good topic. Go ahead. You can bring up.
Sure. Just look, it's been bugging me. I've been posting about it on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. This thing now, I see the Mo Alley Cox.
Giant jug. I had to get some water.
Giant jug, the refrigerator that you fill up with water every day. This thing where players are now expected to slide at the 1 yard line, like in the last 2 minutes of the game, and to crunch the numbers while they're breaking into the open field, and to determine when and where to slide instead of scoring, or scoring if they need to. But knowing all this by themselves is I think is a ridiculous thing to expect from players. So unless they are specifically told, hey, you cannot score a touchdown here. If you break it big, you go down, and we're going to run out the clock. Unless they're told that, they should just simply score. This is ridiculous. Isaac Guerendo last Thursday night against the Seahawks should have scored on his long touchdown, right? Yeah. Maybe like the only chance he's ever going to get to score an NFL touchdown, and he passed it up because he wanted to be the selfless guy and slide down at the 1. And then the Niners scored 2 plays later with Kyle Juszczyk. So I don't, excuse me, that was really loud. I don't know what that was. I think we need to stop with this. I think players just need to score the dang touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, look, there are some cases where the coach needs to communicate to the player to not score. Do you remember that Todd Gurley play when he was in Atlanta, where he literally got to the inch-yard line and he accidentally like fell in?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then they lost. They lost the game, right? So there are situations like when it's when a guy scores a touchdown, it's a very clear 2-score game with like a minute and a half left. Get over yourself. Like, stop. Like, this is the team's not going to come back. They're not going to come when a team though is up by 1 point and they go and they score a touchdown and it's still a 1-possession game. That's when you probably should not be doing something like that.
And I think that's incumbent on the coach.
Sure, 100%. The coach needs to communicate. Yeah,
to tell the quarterback in the huddle, you got to tell whoever gets the ball, you may not score. You cannot score. Okay, yes. Because you're right. You go up by 8, and who cares?
Can I also say that more teams need to let their opponents score in certain situations?
Yeah. Oh, yes, they do.
Like they just need to fall down.
Yep.
And let it happen, and then drive the player into the end zone, like as a defender, like push the player in.
I feel like I have a recent memory of that, maybe that happening. I know famously it happened in a Super Bowl one time. I believe the Packers, like the Brett Favre Packers, may have let someone score a touchdown. Maybe the Broncos score a touchdown in order to try to get the ball back. And back then, there was no analytics, obviously.
Yeah.
It was a shocking thing, and it was like, well, has the game been compromised? Yeah. But yeah, it's a good strategy.
Yeah, there are also situations where players fall. I can't remember the exact score when Guerendo did what he did.
Well, we have a commenter, Anthony says Guerendo's touchdown would have put them up by 2 scores when they weren't already, if I remember correctly.
Right. So that's an important caveat here too, is that there are times where these players are going to fall over and it could end up in a disaster because they didn't score. Like, to me, it's if you can put your team up 2 scores and there's like a minute and a half or a minute left, just score the touchdown.
Right.
Just score.
You're not, I feel like scoring a touchdown is not a bad thing usually, like you're adding points to the board. You're adding points to your team's side of the scoreboard. Like, I feel like you're not going to get in too much trouble. Now, Chase Brown was funny on Monday night because he was clearly like short-circuiting on the way to the end zone, not sure what to do. And then he did this weird slide dive into the end zone. You remember that? So he actually had it in his mind, like, do I slide? Do I go in? I don't know. I'm going to do a little of both.
Right. I also one time lost a GPP. This is when I was playing DFS at a much higher rate. Lost a GPP because Todd Gurley, do you remember? I think it was a 49ers game. He was going down the sideline. Everything's about Todd Gurley.
I was going to say, are you going to just repeat the same
No. He was on the Rams and he was going down the left sideline and he just stopped. He didn't go for the touchdown. And then I ended up losing a few $1,000s because of that. Yeah. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Never
Todd
forget.
is such an angry name.
Todd.
No, name a good Todd.
I don't know.
I'm sure Todd Gurley's a decent dude. Todd's just an angry name. It's a good dog name, Todd. It'd be a great dog name.
Whatever you say. I'm trying to think. There's a golfer named Brendan Todd, but that's his.
Yeah, you can't even think of a person named Todd. All right.
No.
Let's look at what happened last. We had our worst week of the season last week.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't good.
Danny Dimes scored 12. Will Levis scored 7. Andy Dalton scored 15. Joe Flacco scored 14. Drake May scored 20. But Dimes was our main quarterback streamer. There was some good in there, but a lot of bad. K. Dotton 9.5, Tyler Conklin 3, Zach Ertz 10.8. I was happy about the Ertz play at least.
I was thrilled. I had him in Apex, and I was like giddy about it.
Yeah, I had him on my sleeper show as one of my underdog picks. I actually hit on both the underdog picks. I had Ertz as a higher because his line was like 27.5.
Oh yeah.
And then I had Tyler Algier as a touchdown scorer, which ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the Eagles who scored 6, the Chargers scored 7, and the Colts scored 3 this past week. Which I go back. Remember the conversation I talked about with that person on Twitter about the Eagles. Remember the Eagles fan came at me and they were like, "Don't play the Eagles. You can't play." They led I didn't look at what happened on Monday night. I don't know if it changed, but through Sunday night, they were tied with the most sacks on the week.
Trust me, I've watched the Eagles. I've watched every snap. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't know how to pressure the quarterback. Okay, well they're playing Cleveland, buddy. They're playing Cleveland. Okay, Cleveland sucks. Just trust us. We know what we're doing. I truly think that there is what is the name of the meme where you go from like the dopey person to the nerdy to like the overlord, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's the parabola, right? And
where I don't know the name of the meme.
It's basically like Dunning-Kruger type meme, right? Like you start out and you think that you know what you're talking about, but you don't have any information. Then you start to get more information. Actually, it's the opposite of Dunning-Kruger in a way. But then you start to get more information and you're like calculating all these things. And then at the very end, once you actually become an expert on that thing, you realize that you have the same conclusion as the original person who's dopey. So it's not really Dunning-Kruger's. The Dunning-Kruger is more so you think that you know a lot with a lot of information. Then you learn more about the information and you realize you don't know a lot. And then eventually you become more of an expert on that topic. But I don't know if that, like, I feel sometimes like that meme with fans.
Oh yeah.
Where fans just are overthinking and they think that they know so much about their team and the sport and they're in like what's going to happen in that matchup. And at the end of the day, it's really just the high level basic stuff that we need to know about.
It is. It always comes down to that.
Someone said apparently it's called the bell curve meme. Okay.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, that makes sense.
Thank you, Diego Lopez.
Yeah. All right, Denny, let's kick off the quarterback streamers this week. I'll start. I'll go with Drake May, who gets Jacksonville. I don't think people realize how bad Jacksonville has been against quarterbacks this year. I adjust for strength of opponent with my adjusted fantasy points allowed numbers. Jacksonville is basically giving up 9 extra points per quarterback that they face based on their season-long average. So if a quarterback scores like 14 points per game, then against Jacksonville, they're scoring like 23. Like that's how bad they've been, against quarterbacks this year. Every quarterback they face has been a QB1, including Deshaun Watson. His best matchup was against Jacksonville this year. Really? It's crazy. Drake May this past week, I thought he looked pretty good, like respectable at least. Like he had that really nice deep ball. He was on the he ran a decent bit. He had 38 yards on the ground. This is a really, really good spot for him. I think that he's up there. Probably not my favorite of the 4 that we're talking about, but I think he's probably my second favorite of the 4 that we're going to talk about.
I feel like the matchup might make him my favorite.
Yeah, I haven't ranked yet. I do think that he is at least like a 1B. We'll say that.
20% scramble rate. The Patriots are going to stink. We know this. And also they're going to be in a lot of pass first or obvious pass situations, and that's not going to be good for the rookie. But I think his game translates well to fantasy, and I think he could be fun going forward.
For sure.
I have Andrew Dalton, the fifth against Washington. This game has a 52-point total as of this recording. That's the highest of week 7. I'm a little skeptical. I'll tell you why in a second, but it is a good environment. Panthers have a 63% drop back rate since Dalton took over, so that's pretty solid. Washington allowing the 5th highest drop back EPA on the season. Pretty high success rate as well. Now, I will say Washington is the league's 2nd most extreme run funnel defense, and the Panthers are run funnel defense. And I feel like both teams would be very content to just establish it against each other. That shortens the game. That takes away throws. So I still like Dalton, but I would like it a lot more if I thought that they were just going to air it out here. I don't think that's true.
Washington's also not as bad against quarterbacks in the past as we probably anticipated them being based on how they started the season. I mean, right now I have them 15th in adjusted fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position. Like they're not a bad matchup, but they've been better since the start of the season. I'm trying to pull up their exact opponents just so that I can solidify this take. But yeah, I mean, like Lamar Jackson was QB 13 against them. You had Deshaun Watson as 23. Kyler Murray was QB 24. I mean, they've been a lot better since about week 3 when they faced Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Dalton's fine. I would still play Drake May over Andy Dalton.
Drake May, yeah, I would, yeah.
We got Danny Dimes also. You know, it was a tough week last week. The good news, though, and this is really the thesis of this play, is that he ran the ball 11 times for a 2nd straight week. So we know the rushing production could be there. He still had 12 points last week without a passing touchdown. The Eagles have been a below average matchup so far this year. So I'm not like looking at this. And this line is also pretty low. Like it's like a 43.5 point over under. So I'm not like extremely bullish about Jones this week, about Dimes, but I do think that he should provide the floor based on the rushing that we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
I like that we just call him Dimes now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I have Matthew Stafford against the Raiders. 24.5 point total. Importantly, Cooper Kupp could be back, maybe, possibly. Yeah. That's big for Stafford. It's big for the whole offense because without Stafford, without Kupp, they go pretty run heavy, and so that's tough for Stafford, for everybody except for Kyren Williams, really. Raiders are a pass funnel. They give the 12th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. I don't know. Did I say 24.5 point total for the Rams?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, it's a good spot, good enough spot. I think you can play. I think, ideally you're playing Stafford in like a super flex, but you could do worse in a 1 quarterback league.
I think this is where the May versus another quarterback comes into play for me. Like I would play Stafford if Kupp is back, I think.
Maybe.
Although I do worry about the back and forth. I mean, I worry about the back and forth nature though of Jacksonville and New England too. I mean, that's not going to be that high scoring.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these quarterbacks are like slam dunk plays this week. I think they're fine. Like probably high end QB2 type range at best.
I feel like Drake May could have like crazy games.
Look, I'm not disagreeing. In the end, I might have May ranked as the highest of the group, and maybe since you're having the conviction you are, I'll have that.
All right, real quick. Diego mentions a good point, and I actually wanted to run this by you before the show, and I forgot. What are we doing with Sam Darnold? We're
playing Darnold. Yeah.
Over the streamers. Darnold. Okay.
Yeah. We're not bringing up Darnold because he's rostered in too many leagues. Okay. But Darnold has. I mean, they have a great schedule. Like he's it. Yeah, you got to play Darnold.
And by the way, if you want access or early access, Tuesday morning access to our streamers and players we would start over the streamers, check out the Living the Stream Patreon.
All right, Denny, you kick off tight end because you have 3. I have 2.
All right. 1 is Hunter Henry. I mean, look, I think the Jags-Patriots game is going to be ugly, but I do think the Patriots could be in a good position to put up some points. So he had a scammy Hunter Henry in week 6 against the Texans, had a scammy 6.2 average depth of target. Against Houston, Henry had 41 yards and a touchdown on 3 receptions. Like it's just like typical, like get by tight end stuff. He did run a full route rate and he appeared to be a primary red zone target for Drake May. So you could do a lot worse, I think.
I also wonder a little bit about, because like Demario Douglas kind of thrived in that game too, and he's seen higher target shares of late. But I do wonder a little bit if, Houston's really good at getting the quarterback. They generate a lot of pressure. They generate the most pressure, I think, right now in all of football. And you're not going to see that out of Jacksonville. And I do wonder if that like lower A dot kind of dump offy offense to the middle of the field and to Hunter Henry and Demario Douglas happened because of that. And that might lower, a Douglas and Hunter Henry here this week. But the matchup is so good against Jacksonville because they should be able to move the ball that, versus where they would be in a normal week, it's probably still higher than where that would be.
I'd agree with
Jacksonville's so bad. I'm going to go with Colby Parkinson. Probably a better play without Kupp than with Kupp, but and not only that, but Vegas, who they play this week, they've been worse against quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers than tight end in terms of adjusted points allowed. So that's, kind of a knock. But he's at 22%, 24%, and 29% target shares over his last three, which is pretty wild at the tight end position. He's been hovering the 80% route participation rate. Again, Cooper Kupp being back would mean probably a lower target share ceiling for Parkinson. But I do think that we're going to see him run, a route on 80% of their dropbacks, more than likely, just given the way this offense looks and how they operate. The Rams, as you noted, they have a high implied total, 24.5. That's the fifth highest on this slate. So I think Parkinson is okay.
Zach Ertz against Panthers. So Ertz has 30 targets over his past 4 games.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. He's running around on about 90% of the Washington dropbacks, operating from the slot on about 55% of his routes. We like our slot routes for our tight ends. Like I said, Carolina being an extreme run funnel makes me a little bit hesitant on Ertz. I was into him last week mostly because I thought the Commanders would have no choice but to air it out a little bit, and they were like 8% over their expected pass rate. Right. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think Ertz is still playable though.
Yeah. Cade Otton has that matchup that Ertz had last week. He gets Baltimore. It's the same thing each week with Cade Otton. 15 to 20% target share, good route participation, high end tight end 2 type production, which is what we're going to see throughout the season. But again, he gets Baltimore this week. And the reason why we like that matchup last week is because they have seen the highest pass rate against them in neutral script environments this year. So I think once again, we're going to see, Tampa Bay's already been one of the highest teams in pass rate over expected this year. That offense is low key awesome. Like it's fantastic for fantasy, like so good for fantasy. Baker Mayfield, man, I have this on my 10 trends episode that's dropping tomorrow. Baker Mayfield has, according to my numbers. So when I look at adjusted fantasy points allowed, I look at it in terms of the schedule that a team has faced. And I look at the median opponent that team has faced in terms of the raw value of adjusted points allowed. And right now, the Buccaneers have faced a bottom 5 quarterback schedule to start the year. And they've had a couple of easy matchups, like they faced Carolina and stuff. But rest of season, it's top 10. It's like top 3. So Baker Mayfield, who's already been awesome, could be very, very, like, I think he's just a plug and play guy rest of season.
I do too. I worry about the running and the Josh Allen impersonation and him throwing his body all over the place.
Yeah, but yeah.
Like you need to take it down a notch, baby.
Yeah. But he's become kind of awesome. Like just like as a character in the league.
Yeah.
And as like he's become extremely likable and he's balling out. Like it's awesome.
It's funny. He had several national advertising campaigns when he was terrible.
With Cleveland.
Okay, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and he was on every commercial you saw during Sunday football. Right? Yeah. Now he's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's playing at an elite level by any measure, and he's nowhere. He's nowhere in the public consciousness.
That's because he became a dad, and everything changes when you become a dad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happened like this offseason. When you become a dad, you're humbled, right? You just go to work. You just do your thing. You don't need the extra stuff. He doesn't need the extra stuff anymore. He's a family man.
And those commercials that he was on were really funny and good.
Yeah. No, I think Baker's very, very likable. And I hope that he continues to thrive because that whole offense is benefiting. You got Godwin just blowing up. I mean, Mike Evans played New Orleans and got banged up a little bit, and so we knew that he wasn't going to perform well against New Orleans anyway. But Evans has had a great year, right? We get to see my boy Sean Tucker come through and have a big game. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun offense. But Cade Otton, you know, in a normal year, in not this offense, would be pretty mid, but he's actually been okay because tight end has not been that great, and the offense season has been good.
Yeah, all the boats are being lifted. Is what
Yes, right.
Juwan Johnson, he is a thing. He plays for the Saints. The Saints are down everybody going into Thursday night.
Down big bad.
Down unfathomably. So no Chris Olave likely, no Rashid Shaheed likely. Taysom Hill's banged up. He might not play. I actually do think the Taysom status will weigh pretty heavily on how Juwan Johnson is used. But last week with Taysom out, Juwan Johnson ran a route on 36 of 48 dropbacks for the Saints. He caught three balls for 48 yards. Tight ends, the tight end position, I should say, has averaged about 8 targets per game against Denver over the past 3 weeks. This is going to be a disgusting game, but I think Johnson is somewhat interesting.
That game is going to be one of the worst. It's going to be one of those classic, we're all making fun of it while watching it, Thursday night games on Twitter. I mean, it's just going to be awesome in a bad way.
It's going to be awesome bad, yeah.
Yeah. Defenses. I like Cincinnati against Cleveland. I DM'd you and Reeves about this, trying to pick my favorite streamer this week because I was kind of in between a few. And then I dug into Cincinnati more. I just think Cincinnati is the easiest pick. When they get Cleveland is not good. The only defense to not get it done against Cleveland's been Jacksonville this year. They're bottom 5 in pressure rate allowed. They're the top matchup in adjusted points allowed. The Bengals are 6.5 point favorites. Amari Cooper is no longer a Cleveland Brown. I mean, this feels like a game where Cincinnati should be able to come through, and their defense looked better this past week. They had some pieces get a little bit healthier. I'm into this Bengals defense. Is this going to be a thing for the Bengals every year where they just suck the first month of the season and then they just start winning?
Well, I mean, they still suck.
Yeah, they're still kind of not great.
That's the problem.
At least they finally realized that Chase Brown is their best running back.
That is nice that they're doing one good thing, and that's getting the ball to Chase Brown.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I have Patriots against the Jags. I mean, this is a desperation play. 42.5 point total. Trevor Lawrence is being sacked on 24% of his pressures. That's among the highest rates in the league, and he has one of the lowest catchable ball rates. That's what I got. I don't know, man. The Patriots defense is terrible, so good luck.
I think Trevor Lawrence has to cut his hair. Like something's got to change, you know?
Something does have to change.
Like I think that he has to cut his hair. Like that's the only thing that would make sense. Like,
I think
the only way.
That's the analytics are begging him to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I got Indianapolis against Miami. I don't love this play, but since week 1 when Miami faced Jacksonville, going back to that Jacksonville matchup, defenses have ranked 1st, 5th, 6th, and 12th against this Dolphins offense. Tua's not going to be back this week. Do you think Tua comes back next week, though?
I would think so.
Yeah, the way I think so. People were taking Mike McDaniel's quote as like a bad thing because he's not giving a time. To me, he's just not going to comment on something like that because he knows that it's a very, very fragile thing to talk about.
Also, he wasn't eligible to come off.
Yeah, he wasn't. I know people were making a really big deal out of something that didn't need to be made a deal.
I feel like national reporters should learn about injured reserve.
Yes, you would think. Yeah. My assumption is they think that the bye week counts.
Oh, I see.
That's my guess. Is that's why that discussion was even had. But Indianapolis, they're mid. But the matchups there, you can see, through the line right now, the Colts are slight favorites in this game. I do think it's kind of a desperation play though, because the Colts are second worst at generating pressure in the league. I mean, it's not like a great defense, but the matchup should at least be there.
Yeah, and finally the Saints. I mean, it's going to be ugly, like we said, on Thursday night. Saints against the Broncos. Bo Nix, 29th out of 32 qualifying quarterbacks in completion rate over expected. So if he's forced to drop back a little bit, you could get lucky with a couple picks or something like that. But man, I don't even know. I mean, this could be a game where the Broncos win easily and Bo Nix has like 50 yards throwing.
Yeah, I could. And in the final, by win easily, you just mean it's a 9-3 final because no offense, because the Saints offense is doing absolutely nothing.
I'd say 12. I'd say 12-3.
The fact that Bub Means is going to be their wide receiver 1 this week is shocking and frightening all at once. I mean, the guy that I watched him at Pitt. I profiled him in my prospect guide. I'm like, this guy is probably going to be a deep threat at best in the NFL. And he's already exceeded my expectations based on what he did last week. But like as a 1, thank God Patrick Surtain's out likely out because what would the Saints even do? They couldn't. They wouldn't be able to. I mean, like 90 dump offs to Alvin Kamara. Is that what's going to happen this week?
I think that actually is what I think it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Alvin Kamara is probably like over under 11 catches for Alvin Kamara this week. I mean, for real.
You say hail Pitt, yet you're not in on Bub Means season.
Yeah. Look, hail to Pitt, Denny. Do you know how many games Pitt has lost this year? Pitt football.
Yeah, they've lost 0.
They've lost 0. They're ranked 20th in the country. Eli Holstein, their true redshirt freshman.
Is he really?
Oh, dude, he's a monster. The guy's a freak.
He posts online like a wide receiver. Have you seen this?
Oh, I haven't seen that. I didn't know that he was
a
on
wide receiver poster. Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah, the enemy speaking very kindly to him.
He's I got College Football 25 to play on my Xbox, and I've been playing that for a couple months now. And did I talk about this on the show? How I started at Bowling Green. That I was a head coach at Bowling Green, and then I think I talked about this on Becoming a Best Ball Bro with Rich. I started with Bowling Green, and after a year, I got a job offer at Pitt to be their head coach.
Get out.
And so I've been Pitt's head coach, and I had Eli for my first season. We didn't make the college football playoff, and then we lost to UTEP in a bowl game. But next year is our year. We're gonna do it.
Just tell me that you never punted.
Oh no, we don't punt, and we don't. And Des Reed, the Pitt's running back now, who is in the game, which is fun that you can actually play with real players. He was number 2 in the Heisman voting, so we were very close to having an epic season. We just didn't get there.
I'm happy for your success.
Thank you.
Before we get into the questions, I just wanted 2 things. One, I made a good faith effort. I posted about it on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, that I went to the grocery store. I saw maybe 18 to 20 kinds of Oreos. Among those kinds were not the Coke flavored Oreos.
There are so many flavored Oreos.
It's too much. It's honestly almost like sickening how many there are.
It's kind of dystopian.
It's not good. It's not good that we have 18 kinds of Oreos. That's all.
I feel really sick about it.
I went on Amazon last night and ordered them, so they should be here at my house soon. I'll save them for next week. I apologize. I forgot to look for the Coke flavored under the Oreo flavored Coke.
Yeah, I have some. I actually have some in my garage fridge. I could send it up to you.
Are you serious?
I do have some because we bought it for Avery and my wife. Neither of them like it, so
it sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
So I will. I promise. I want to do this for some reason. I will do it next week. I just wanted to mention a product that I mentioned a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to mention it last week. It's called Pre-Sleep. I'm looking at the camera now. I have the blue raspberry kind. You can check it out at presleep.co, not com, presleep.co. It is an all-natural way to become sleepy, to give yourself some better sleep. It's worked for me. It has L-theanine in it, which is something that I've used over the years. I really recommend it for folks who are having some trouble with the sleep situation. It's called Pre-Sleep, and I prefer blue raspberry, folks. Oh, and sorry, JJ, use Denny10 as the promo code to get 10% off. There you go. All right.
You ever track your sleep with like a sleep tracker?
No, I haven't, but I kind of want to.
I wear an Oura ring. That's what I wear it as like a wedding band now. That's just my thing. It's fascinating. I didn't realize it, but I'm like I mean, knock on wood, I've been a really good sleeper. Like I don't have much interruption. I get really good like deep sleep and stuff like that.
You're hydrated and you exercise.
Yeah, I think that I've definitely found a correlation between like days that I, if I don't work out or something like that, or like if I ate poorly. It's crazy though, man. The kinds of things that it'll pick up on, if you just do one slight thing different or bad to your body that day, you'll see it in the numbers. It's pretty wild.
Charles Sword is in the comments. He calls it Uncle Dr. Denny's Miracle Night Tonic. And,
there you go.
It is not that. I swear that product has been taken off the shelves.
All right. We have questions from last week on Twitter. I'm going to get to a lot of those because we didn't get like a ton this week. This is from @WithParks. It says, my son turns 1 right before Halloween this year. What's trick or treat etiquette with a kid this young? Do we still ask for candy even though he can't have any yet?
How old again?
About to turn 1 right before Halloween.
I feel like maybe just don't go trick or treating.
I think that you can. I'm trying to think back to what we did with Avery, because it was different last year with CJ because Avery was already going trick or treating, so we were just out, right, and like doing things. I think we walked around, but it was more so just like although no, you know what? Because she was born in July, so we didn't do anything year 1 because she was an infant, and then she was a year and like 4 months the next year, and so it was easier to go out because she could actually I think she could eat some of it.
But I mean, at 1, I kind of forget. It's been a long time since I've had a 1-year-old.
I think you can trick or treat and get some candy.
I think probably
Just go to like 4 houses.
A 1-year-old can't have candy. Is that?
I mean, a 1-year-old. I mean, some candy probably not. I mean, most candy probably not. I mean, think about like they're not going to eat like a Snickers with like
No.
peanuts in it, and they're going to choke on the caramel. Maybe like a Three Musketeers. There's not a lot.
It's soft.
You could chop up a Three Musketeers and they'd be all right.
Yeah, I'm just like 1-year-olds. Yeah, 1-year-olds can have some candy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, usually the whole reason for like the smash cake at your first birthday is that it's the first time that they're like eating sugar. It's the first time they feel the inevitable addiction to the substance and on their first birthday. It's
when
like an
did smash
initiation.
cakes? Yeah, when did smash cakes become a thing? Because we had that for our kids.
Yeah, we did it. We did it for both of ours.
But I mean, like, I didn't have a freaking smash cake. Wait, maybe I did. Actually, I'm thinking back. My parents actually have a recording of my first birthday, and I actually have a memory of me crushing the cake and then like putting it all over my face.
Like, you remember being 1 year old, or
no. I remember watching the video.
I was like, okay, my goodness, that'd be frightening.
No.
So index of suspicion saying, wait, caramel, not caramel. I say caramel whenever I say that word.
I would say caramel.
Do you say caramel? I wonder what the region divide is.
It's a regional thing.
I know, but we're not that. I feel like our dialect wouldn't be like that. Although I'm more Midwest and you're not.
I'm more non-regional dialect.
You're more of a coastal elite than I am.
That's right.
Yeah. Next question. This is from @IamGroot2001. Throughout his illustrious career, Denny has had a lot of bits on the platform formerly known as Twitter. What are some of your favorites? My top 2 are probably that he's never been owned and that he didn't fart. You know my favorite bit of yours, right?
No.
It's the I'm in. No matter what would make me laugh. It's just one of those things where it's like I tweeted this last night. Whenever Zerline doinked it for a second time, it is impossible to not like chuckle when you see hear a ball hit a metal thing.
Boing.
Yeah. Like I remember playing basketball growing up, like, and like pickup games and stuff. And when someone would accidentally hit the pole of the basketball hoop, do you call it a goal, by the way? A basketball goal?
No.
I used to get so irritated when people would call it a goal.
What?
Oh my God, it pissed me off so much. You never heard anyone say that?
No, and honestly, I mean, the National Guard should be alerted.
Yeah, I know. I agree. But the pole that is connected to the actual backboard and hoop and stuff. And when someone would throw a pass, and it would be a bad pass or something, and then boing, and then everyone would start laughing. That's equivalent. But I feel the same way about I'm in. I'm in is just that you have to laugh at it.
So yeah, I think it started as the full post was like from like 2015, and it was like when I log in every morning, I whisper to myself almost inaudibly, I'm in. And then I followed that. It was a thread. It actually, looking back, it looks like an insane person did it. You know, like an actual like not well person did I'm in over and over and over for weeks and months and years even. Yeah. And folks seem to like it. Not scared by it. Diego mentions one of my favorites currently, which is the lowest high ankle sprain.
That's a really good bit.
I love it. It's just amazing because teams are so disingenuous about the ankle sprains. because they know that people are way like 10 years ago, nobody was talking about low or high ankle sprains, right?
No,
But
it's just an ankle.
now everybody's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And so the teams have to say, oh, don't worry, Mahomes, it's the lowest ankle sprain possible on a human,
Right.
Otherwise we'll freak out.
You also have My Wife Left Me, which is it's not like the low ankle sprain one is a very unique bit that you have come up. The Wife Left Me one is kind of like an internet bit / you took it to the extreme in the way that you do online.
Yeah. I tend to get fixated on something and then just go with it forever.
Yeah, but sometimes they just like I had the retirement bit for a while, and it just got so obnoxious because I would tweet about it, and then people would see the tweet, not knowing the bit, and I couldn't handle that. It was just so annoying at that
Well, you
point.
made the mistake of having unbelievable account growth. Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I
so
haven't
that
had a
was-
new person follow me since 2020. So I mean, and you gain 8,000 followers a minute. So people are going to tune in and be like, retirement. Amari Cooper didn't retire.
Yeah. There, so TC Patter says I enjoyed the Mike Davis as his roommate. That's more of an LTS bit as opposed to the Twitter bit. More than anything else.
I'm be honest, and nothing against like anyone who uses the Mike Davis joke. I just got tired of it, and that's why I stopped engaging with it. It just went.
I think it's
on forever.
I find it funny when it randomly gets brought up on this show. Like not we don't need it every week as a question. More so when like Mike Davis is for whatever reason in the news, and then there's like a connection to it.
Did you see?
Didn't something happen recently with Mike Davis?
Like, so Trump was like, I'm going to appoint Mike Davis to my cabinet. And everyone was like, what? I have no idea who Mike, honestly, I'm plugged in and I have no idea who Mike Davis is from a political standpoint. But then the Mike Davis running back, the former running back, actually does the eyes emoji over that post and was like, wait, what?
That's funny. It's funny. Next question at Mana_dork. I was out working in a rural area last week when I got hit with a JJ level of poop bomb. Oh, sweaty and in pain. I was just able to make it into town before the worst happened. However, it got me thinking, what is the protocol if I would have needed to pull over and poop in the woods?
Oh my God.
This is why you got to always have like a towel or something available in your car.
Okay.
Wait, you've done this?
This happened to me once.
Oh, really? Look at
I so hesitant. I'm about to talk about it.
Denny, we have talked about it. I've talked about sharding. We've talked about like you can talk about an incident. People need to connect to us as real humans, Denny. All right. Tell the freaking story.
Look, I want to emphasize I've never farted before, but one time on our way to North Carolina for Thanksgiving, we stopped at this very shady looking restaurant. Okay. But me and Melissa were both hungry. So we just went in and we got some burgers and it was a nice, I mean, it tasted fine, but holy cow, it must've been like rotten meat. Right. Cause I'm talking like 20 minutes later, it hits my lower intestine and that it's over. Right. So we pull over. I literally have no choice. Like we're in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina. And I had to go. I had to get into the woods and do it there. Had to do it live, And thankfully, I grabbed a box of tissues that we had in the car.
There you go.
And it worked out okay, actually. I mean, I don't want to relive it too much, but wow, that was a painful, horrible experience.
Look, I'm glad that you shared that and you got that off your chest. And now everyone knows that there's a Denny shit somewhere in the woods in North Carolina.
Oh, it's a lot. I'll be honest. It might still be there.
Yeah, right. So people were mad that I mentioned a towel as something that I'm just saying that like something in your car, okay, that you would be able to use in a lot of different ways for a lot of different emergencies. If you're in an emergency and you have to go number 2 and there's a towel there, you can use the towel, you guys. Like, I'm not saying you use the towel and you keep the towel in your car for the next 5 weeks with your poop on it. Like, stop this. This is not what I'm just have paper towels because it has a lot of different uses. And in a worst case scenario, you just rough up your butt a little bit.
Just a little. It'll forgive you in the long run.
Yeah. Someone said newspaper.
Yeah.
That's another just anything. You just need anything. That's the protocol. Just have anything in your car. Literally anything.
So
As long as it's not the shirt that you're wearing.
I guess this makes me a bear, JJ, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Pooping in the woods.
I think so. This next question is from @number1punna. Do you ever get recognized in public for fantasy stuff, or in Denny's case, from his local news interview about wearing dumb hats? That we didn't discuss this one.
Sometimes if I'm at a social gathering, I will get someone who goes, "Oh wait," they'll put the pieces together as we're talking. Wait,
Yeah,
Roto World, NBC. Oh, you're that guy.
yeah.
So that happens sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably I get recognized probably 5 to 10 times a year
That's
out in
a
public.
lot.
I had a streak of 4 weekends in
yeah.
a row. Do you
You
remember that?
mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 4 weekends in a row. Someone would recognize me. It's more so just like a casual. It's just like a dad who's like I saw someone at the grocery store once. They're like, "Hey, listen to your podcast." And there was someone at CJ's daycare who had listened to the show and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's never a bad interaction, which is good.
No. Actually, there's an index of suspicion in our chat said that he one time saw me walking to work in DuPont.
Oh,
I have never worked in DuPont Circle, so
yeah. It's just another white guy.
Unfortunately, I am every white man.
Yeah, I've been to DuPont Circle before.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who had, yeah, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, my dog's upset.
Next question @Justin White VA. JJ, has anyone ever told you that you look like Brad Pitt? Thank you, Justin White. Thank you. I would have to agree that after this is in response to the JD Vance thing from a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's funny. Many are saying, more and more are saying that JJ looks exactly like Brad Pitt.
And he said, Denny, has anyone ever told you that you look like every Caucasian male that has ever graced public consciousness? Which is really plays into what just happened on the show. Like exactly with the DuPont Circle thing.
I really do. Like, I will get texts from my brothers-in-law and being like, I mean, it's the same. What I mean is like, it's the same thing as like rando people on Twitter or whatever, on X, where my brothers-in-law will text me an image of a white guy and be like, why does this look like you?
Yeah.
Actually, one of my brothers-in-law the other day said, JD Vance looks like a fat Denny.
What?
I was like, wait, excuse me.
Literally looks like I look more like JD Vance than you do, for sure. For sure.
Think, you know what I think it is? I think he has blue eyes and I have blue eyes,
Yeah,
and
me
that's
too.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He does have good eyes. I'll give him that.
He wears the eyeliner.
Yeah, he accentuates them very well. Right. Next question @ndutton13. Question for this week. As two people, at least one listener lists as mentors or helpful influencers, who are some people who helped guide you in the early days of fantasy scribbling? Shout out to Fantasy Douche wherever he is. Yeah, wherever Fantasy Douche is.
Yeah,
shout out.
He's probably like dominating some industry we don't even know about.
Probably.
So who are people who helped us?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a mentor per se, but one of my first breaks was in 2012, and Evan Silva had me write a series on Roto World about quarterback value, which at the time was like there weren't many guest posts on Roto World and stuff, and it was a very like Roto World is like a sacred ground. Not to say that it's like not a great publication right now or anything like that, but it was
used to be different.
It was like a sacred ground.
It was
in fantasy football because there weren't as many like sites and resources out there. It was literally just Roto World.
Not every single person in America had their own fantasy site.
Exactly, and myself included. And so yeah, like I Silva gave me a call. I remember this is in 2012. I was picking up like a prescription or something, and he gave me a call, and I was like in a Target parking lot, and I was nervous as you could ever imagine because Silva is Silva. You know, he still has a very big voice in the space, and I never talked to him before. And he was like, "Yeah, you." And he's like, "Hey, you want to write for Roto World?" I was like, "I'm just kidding. I love Silva." It's crazy because you go from that, and now I'm friends with the dude, and can, text some stupid things on a
Yeah.
Sunday or something like, it's just wild how all of that comes to be. But Silva gave me my first like real big break. And then it kind of spiraled from there. I got some stuff at PFF, got my job at Numberfire. So shout out, Nick Bonadio, who started Numberfire, gave me a big break. But I don't think anyone was like a mentor per se for me.
I don't think I had a mentor. Chet Gresham was the first person to ever publish me on his former site called The Fake Football. So I appreciate that always. Bob Harris was big for putting me on radio, on
magazines and stuff too.
Yes, right. Magazines. He published an excerpt from my book, the DFS book that I wrote, and then had me on his radio show several times early on. And again, so nervous I could like barely speak, but it helped get my name out there, and helped to make other publications aware of me. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but that's basically it. Later on, Evan Silva would contact me to write for Roto World a little bit for kickers, and so that was good too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that in any like gig, any job that you have, like you're meeting people that are kind of opening doors for you. And I think we both have had, different people who have done that small and big ways. I think that's just more so the inflection points that you remember the most, right? Yeah. Like I remember the Silva conversation. He probably doesn't remember it at all, but like I remember the Silva conversation. I remember when I got my job at Numberfire, because that completely changed my life, because I was now doing it as a full-time thing instead of, it being more of a part-time thing. But yeah, I don't know, mentorship and stuff, like I'll gladly, I have people that I talk to for, I don't know if they would consider me like a mentor though, like mentoring to me is like a very intimate relationship.
Yeah. I've made a point to promote little known, especially younger writers over the years. But I can't say that I've mentored anybody.
Yeah. Next question. At Beefcake5. This might have to be no, we got a couple more. As a recent bidet purchaser, I want to just thank JJ for his emphasis that it is a wonderful product. You're welcome. I know, Ben. It is. It has been a revelation for me. My question is, how do you cope with pooping outside of the house now with this luxury?
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. That's exactly right. You don't do it. You don't poop out of the house. I haven't pooped outside of my house, aside from when I've traveled for work or whatever, like at the expo. Haven't pooped outside of my house, and I probably poop inside my house 363 days of the year.
Yeah. Well, your bidet gets some good use.
Yeah, the bidet is getting some good use. Yeah.
Bro, yeah. I can't with the bidet stuff.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, just
it's
a mess. It goes everywhere.
What did you install it like a moron? Why is it doing that?
No, my wife installed it.
Well, tell her it might be installed incorrectly.
All right.
What is it getting on your wall?
Well, I mean, even like when the kids use it, it gets all over the place. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one that I think that uses it in my family.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's a great thing. It keeps
so Amanda has her head on straight. That's good.
Yeah, evidently. But yeah, the answer is you just don't do it. You don't poop outside of your house.
You simply hold it.
You simply hold it. I have to. I will make sure that I go to the bathroom before I leave. And like if it's like a morning thing, like a 9 a.m. thing. I went to Disney on Ice a couple weekends ago. I had to do my business before Disney on Ice.
No question. I did the pumpkin patch thing on Saturday.
Yeah.
I said I cannot leave until this happens.
Yes, you have to look, guys, prioritize poop. Okay, you have to prioritize poop.
I have a bone to pick with pumpkin patches and Christmas tree lots. Okay,
yeah.
Every time I go to one of these places in the mornings, I'm expecting coffee, and when I ask, "Where's your coffee?" they look at me as if I have a third eye, and they basically go, "Never heard of it. Sorry."
Yeah,
like no, we don't have coffee.
How about this apple cider over here? Well, you're just gonna make me poop more,
right? So yeah, they that's what they did. Offer me apple cider, and I was like, okay, so that's not coffee. Did you have coffee? And I feel like this is a huge missed opportunity. I would have paid a premium for coffee while I picked my dang apple, or not apples, pumpkins.
Yeah.
And these places never have coffee.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't drink coffee anymore. I don't know if I've told you that. I drink Ticino instead. I should get them as a sponsor.
Oh, so this dietary trend that I see on Instagram where they say green tea is like a fat incinerator and a great for dieting, an appetite suppressant. It's all bunk. It's in the New York Times today. All just ridiculous bunk. So
green tea is not good for you.
It is good for you, but they said that. So the contention on Instagram is that it's like Ozempic.
Gotcha.
It's nature's Ozempic, but it turns out not even close.
Yeah, I don't even do green tea though because I don't do caffeine, so I'm not even consuming that stuff.
You don't do caffeine. All right, I forgot about that.
I don't do. I'm the anti Jesse Spano to bring back to last week.
You're never going to be scared.
I know. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Anyway, Denny, that's it for today's show. Let everyone know where they can find you.
At CD Carter 13 on the X platform. Find all my work at Roto World, including the Regression Files, which is live right now.
You can check out all my stuff over on lateround.com. Check out the Late Round podcast and all that. And, I got other stuff. I got a Patreon. We have a Patreon for this as well. Otherwise, I mean, that's it for today. You want to get like a milkshake or something?
As long as it does not have any caffeine in it.
Or dairy.
Or dairy.
Or we need a dairy-free milkshake.
Or
maybe coconut milk. Coconut milk will do it.
We'll do that.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We will catch you next week.
Thank you for listening to Living the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long, it's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
LateRound.com and NBC Sports Edge.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the teams